Hello aspirants, welcome to Ekam Academy. Today we'll be discussing as part of concept of the day, parliamentary committees. So as one of you have asked, I'm discussing this particular topic which is very much important in terms of polity for any examination including UPSC or state examinations. So if you have seen in 2018 as well as 2020 mains also UPSC have asked question on parliamentary committees. Not only that, they also have asked many questions in terms of prelims also. So this topic is very much important because Parliament as a topic itself is holding lot of significance in any examination. So first let us understand what is parliamentary committee, what is the source of this and who will constitute this or who will appoint this, as well as we'll understand what are the types of committees and their functions, what are the main challenges that this particular committee or institutional mechanism is facing and how to overcome those challenges we'll be discussing in this particular video. This is extensively launched as part of the concept series. Do watch, like, share and subscribe. So first point of discussion is parliamentary committees. So first thing we need to understand in terms of polity, when we are discussing anything, we need to know what is the source of that particular feature. So this was borrowed from British Constitution. So the concept of parliamentary committees was taken from British Constitution. Then what is the main thing we have to understand? From where do they actually draw their power from? That means, is there any provision in the Constitution which is giving them powers to constitute parliamentary committees? That means we have Article 105 which empowers to ensure parliamentary privileges. At the same time, we also have Article 118 which empowers the houses to make rules for smooth conduct of the business in the house. So according to these two provisions, parliamentary committees may be constituted. So who will be constituting this? Means it can be constituted by members of the house themselves, or it may be nominated by speaker or chairman. So here by members themselves or by nomination by speaker or the chairman. So this is a way how they will be constituted. Then let us talk about the types of parliamentary committees. So basically we have two types of committees. One is standing committee and second one is ad hoc committee. Okay, so what is standing committee? Standing committee is something which is permanent. That means every year it will be constituted, but they remain fixed. So that means here standing committees are of three types. So one is public accounts committee, then estimates committee and committee on public undertakings. So these are standing committees, especially financial standing committees. Then we also have ad hoc committees. That means they're temporary in nature. So then what is the need here? That means when there is a controversy or when there is some irregularity to find out, any house may constitute this particular committee. That means once if it serves the purpose, then it will not function. That means we may have select committee where one particular house only constitutes a committee for that particular house, or sometimes there may be joint committees as well. That means members of both the house or both houses also will be part of this. But here either it can be only Lok Sabha or it can be Rajya Sabha. That is what the primary difference. So now let us understand each one in detail. So first one we have is among the financial standing committees is Public Accounts Committee. So this was like if you have traced the origin of this particular committee, it has its origins in 1919 Montague-Chelmsford reforms. So based on the recommendations, it was constituted in 1921, but later after independence also in 1950 we have again revived this particular committee. Then what is the main role here? It will look into the accounts of the government. That means, you know, like once after the budget was approved, government will be taking the approval of the parliament and it will use the money which was given by the parliament for that particular purpose. So that is what the job being done by executive. But here on the recommendations of Controller and Auditor General, PAC, that means CAG's report will be the basis for this particular committee. So taking the report of the CAG, they will identify whether there is any financial irregularity in spendings or did they maintain that financial prudence. All these things will be checked by Public Accounts Committee. Then what is the constitution of this particular committee? Means it comprises of 15 members from Lok Sabha and 7 members from Rajya Sabha. A total of 22 members will be part of this PAC. They will be elected for 1 year tenure. Ministers cannot be part of this particular committee. They will be elected through a system called single transferable vote by proportional representation. That is a mechanism. So that is the main job as I just told you. Next we have Estimates Committee. So what is the role of Estimates Committee? It has to look into the budget estimates. So whether that much estimate is actually required and all these aspects will be checked by Estimates Committee. One most important feature you have to keep in mind is this committee constitutes only of Lok Sabha members. All 30 members will be from Lok Sabha alone. There won't be any representation from Rajya Sabha, and a minister cannot be member because they cannot be member while they're identifying whether financial accountability of executive is actually ensured to the legislature or not. At the same time, they also will have 1 year tenure, again elected through proportional representation and single transferable vote. Then Committee on Public Undertakings. So this committee exclusively will look into the issues of public undertakings or PSCs by relying on the CAG report. So whether their audit is proper or not, all these things will be there. Then you can understand what is so much important about these committees. They are making the financial accountability in the parliamentary system. That means they're making executive to answer to the legislature in terms of financial domain. But are they really powerful? Means no, because all these committees are doing post-mortem work. That means after the expenditure is done, they are going to monitor. So, and whatever the recommendations they make, those are only advisory in nature. They're not binding on the government. So that is why they're again becoming toothless tigers, right? So that is one main thing. Then apart from these committees, we also have committee to inquire or committee on subordinate legislations, committee on day-to-day administrations, committee on housekeeping affairs. Like this, we have many committees, okay, but they have their respective jobs. But among those, you have to keep in mind these 3 committees are very much important in examination point of view, along with departmental standing committees. So departmental standing committees originally were 17, but 7 more got added in 2003, making total of 24. So then what is the main job of this departmental standing committees? 2 main things you have to keep in mind. They have to review any bill related to that particular ministry. If proposed, they have to scrutinize the bill. And second, they also have to ensure what is the budgetary grant given for that particular department or ministry. Is that much required? All these things, the financial scrutiny will be done by this departmental standing committees. Along with this, they also review the annual reports of that particular ministry submitted in the parliament. So these are the main things. Now let us understand why they are important. Okay, so why these committees are very much important? As I just told you, these committees are trying to ensure accountability of the executive to the legislature. It can be in terms of financial or any other aspect. Okay, why? Because Indian parliamentary system itself is centered over one principle of collective responsibility. That can be done through this mechanism also. That is the main role. Then it will also help in providing expertise to the ministers, because you know most of the times ministers or even MPs doesn't have that much expertise. So they can also advise the government as well as MPs in regarding any particular bill, or related subjective knowledge also can be added by these committees. At the same time, they'll also ensure the legislative process is also going on smooth. They'll also ensure checks and balances by ensuring accountability in the system. So these are the advantages or why we need to have parliamentary committees. Then but what is actually happening? Because in the recent times, if you have seen, the number of hours parliament is trying to sit is getting down. Okay, that means when you are not able to sit for long, then how can you ensure that these committees are also getting enough time to scrutinize and to give their valuable suggestions to the parliament? That is the main challenge. And many a times, to bypass these committees, many bills are not even forwarded also. That is why that bypassing the legislation or the parliamentary procedure, that is also one thing. And lack of expertise is also one another thing, and lack of resources is another challenge. Like this, these committees are facing so many issues. Then if you counter these challenges, we can have the better output. So that is what you have to suggest in the way forward. So why I have explained why and what is the requirement, because most of the times in mains also they're asking this type of questions. So, and my question of this particular video is, how can Parliament ensure accountability of the executive to itself? So in what ways I'm asking? So whether it is in the form of no confidence motion, like this, we have certain motions or certain procedures through which a legislature can ensure that they are making the executive accountable. So try to put all those options in which this accountability can be ensured in your comment section. Then let us see the practice question for the day. Which of the following are the standing committees? Among these, which are the standing committees? Try to choose your correct option and put your answer in the comment section. Then, as we have reached end of the video, as part of concept of the day series, today we have discussed about parliamentary committees. What are the different types of parliamentary committees? What are the source of power? And then we have seen the composition, most important committees, and then we also have seen what is the requirement and why they're not fully functional, along with the way forward, right? So in this particular concept series, if you want me to explain any further topics, please let me know in the comment section. I'll try to cover those topics soon. Definitely I'll try to do. Thank you for watching. All the very best.